Welcome to Culture Cut TV here on Much Obliged TV. I'm Static Link. I'm with the homie DJ Mop Top.
That's what it is. Welcome here to Culture Cut TV, where we go ahead and interview some of our favorite artists in New York City and beyond, and we ask them some of their favorite music videos that inspire them as an artist.
Yeah, today's episode is going to be great. We have the homie Vyle in the building. It's going to be awesome. I'm a big fan. I know you're a big fan. He's also one of our homies. I've known Vyle pretty much since I moved here, so it'll be a great interview. We've worked together. We've been in the studio together. But let's get into our first video today. We got a special one for you today. The day we're shooting the episode is actually the day that Anderson .Paak's new album came out, Oxnard, which I've been looking forward to quite a bit. But since we've already played Tints on the show, I want to get into another video by Anderson .Paak. This one is Like This by No Worries, which is Anderson .Paak and Knowledge.
Bam.
Let's get
it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Don't want you.
Welcome back to Culture Cut TV here on Much Obliged TV. That was
Like This by No Worries. Man, you are terrible at this. So shout out to Stones Throw, man. I'm a big Stones Throw fan. These videos today were one of my selections. So
yeah.
You're
my
good.
brain's just not working.
It's
you know
all
what
good,
I mean?
man.
I had a DJ rooftop yesterday, so it was a little rough. We got the super homie Albert, one of my best friends in the whole world, one of my favorite musicians.
Yeah.
Albert Vyle in the building.
One of my favorite too, man. It's been a while, man, and I'm glad we finally got you in. Why we got you in on the second season, I don't understand, because you're
too busy for us now.
I know,
I get
right?
it.
Well, honestly, too, I think I like you were the very first artist I met moving here through Mop. I met Mop Top first, and I met you immediately right after. So it's kind of odd that it took us so long, but here we are. We're here.
We are.
Man, it happens like that. What's going on, guys? How y'all feeling?
Good, man. I remember meeting you in Chicago, we'll say in our delinquent days.
Yeah.
And then, we kind of moved to New York at the same time. We were able to build through that. And you kind of
Yes,
worked with
sir.
a lot of artists that I look up to, other artists that are friends of mine as well. Floshadamus, Busy P, a bunch of the French homies, Uffy, and
Shouts
all
to them.
that. And, I knew a lot of your music before we actually met at that rave, actually. I don't know if you remember that night.
Right.
But why don't you go ahead and tell everybody kind of who you are and what you do for anybody who's not familiar with your music.
My name is Vyle. I'm a artist, producer, vocalist from Chicago, living in New York. I've been creating music for about 10 plus years. Like 15 years.
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I mean? Like we've been at this. Also, I'm a 3D artist, had art, shown around, I'm out here.
All around entrepreneur, and what I really like about what you've done is, you dip into all different, media forms and ways to push yourself as an artist, which I think is really important in today's day, to be able to, not just be one element. Like, you can design, you can be an MC, you can produce your own music, you can create your own music videos, your art that goes behind all of it.
Well, I think that's important. I think you kind of have to be like that today, right? I mean, you have to be kind of a jack of all trades in the sense of where you are able to do everything, to stay relevant. Because if you don't, you're going to be coming out of pocket quite a bit.
Well, I think as an artist, no matter what you do, you should always find a way to differentiate yourself
Absolutely.
from other artists. No
well, and I
matter
think
what
I think you've done that, with your career and what you've done so far. Speaking on, you said producer, rapper, do video. The video stuff's incredible, guys, too, by the way. But the production and rapper stuff, particularly, that's not something that you really hear with rap music or with hip hop. And as far as kind of being good at both of them. I mean, I could probably count good producer rappers on one hand. You know what I mean? And I think that that's something that you kind of bring to the table, because the production's sick. Your writing's dope. I mean, you just had a project just came out. Told you, I was a big fan of that. So like, where did you pull that inspiration from? What made you decide to do your own beats?
So
were you a producer first, and then you got into rapping after that?
No, I got into rapping first. So like as a kid, just through just being around the way, you know what I mean. Some of the guys were just like, man, based off of just some freestyling back in the day, like, yo, you should get into this. And where I'm from, like, to be completely honest, you know what I mean, like off the street where I'm from, there was a shoe store, and in that shoe store, people sold mixtapes. And one of the artists that sold a mixtape was Kanye West. You know what I'm saying? So
That's crazy.
to me, like, it being from where I'm from on the south side of Chicago, I just felt like hip hop was just
Around
it was
you.
it was par for the course almost. You know what I mean? So growing up, I was like, I don't know if I want to get into that. So kind of dabbled in it for a little while, and then got like a Dr. Sample, and then started messing with that.
Nice.
And then created some of my first beats, and then I always like reached out to producers and worked with people, but mostly the reason why I kind of got into creating my own beats is because who else is gonna make what you want to hear more than you?
And I think honestly too, touching on that specifically, when me and you have a song that we're working on right now together, and when I came in today and we were talking about it, you wanted to be part of the production on that as well, which I think is cool because you're not necessarily a beat maker. That's the difference between a producer and a beat maker. You hear something as far as the song structure itself and what you want it to do in a sense, and I think that's great. I mean, I don't think that very many artists kind of get into that or say that kind of thing, So yeah, man, it's awesome that you're like that.
I appreciate that, bro.
I want to go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into, what it was like working with some of these artists, kind of your coming up in the whole music industry. But first, I want to go ahead and dive into our first music video. What's the first music video, and why did it inspire you?
Okay, first music video that I selected is The God, Ghostface Killer, Cobra Clutch. And
Bop bop.
Yeah, Bong Bong, you already know. Shout out to Staten Island and all that. Stapleton, all that, But yeah, the reason why I selected it, because Ghostface, he's like the architect of, he's one of the architects outside of like E40, right, that created this entire universe around his slang. You know what I mean? Like even, and you know what, because off camera we was talking about MF Doom, you know what I'm saying? Ghostface was the first one to take that Marvel, rest in peace to Stan Lee, but take that Marvel and have his alter ego be Tony Stark, you know what I mean?
For sure.
And create that sort of universe. So Ghost is definitely one of my top MCs. And Cobra Clutch, another reason why I picked it, because it's a RZA beat on there, and it's a soul-based beat, and that's just where I'm from. That's how we get down. You already know, Chicago with the soul beats.
All right, let's get into it right here on Culture Cut TV.
Boom.
Yo, yeah, hey yo, motherfucker, hey yo, swallow it. Hey yo, we dash lost this bloody version of glacier, slingshot through a gem in his mouth, swallow his razor. Say no more, my back be parked against the wall. Trooper swear holding, face don't give a about the law. I bought the bracelet. Don't get blinded by the ice ball. It's not cold, piranha bill slept.
Welcome back to Culture Cut TV here on Much Obliged TV. That was Ghostface Killer with Cobra Clutch. Man, that instrumental is sick, man.
Oh, yeah.
Fire.
My God. RZA, dude. I mean, he was basically the architect of the New York sound. I mean, one of the architects of New York sound for sure, man. So, getting back into, like, some of the people that you've worked with, because you've worked with a bunch of different people, and not even just in hip-hop.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell some of the people, why don't you name off some of the people that you had a chance to work with? Because I know personally, but I want to hear some of the stories behind them.
Yeah, I want to know how you ended up linking up with a lot of these
exactly.
people. You know what I mean? Especially in this era where, I feel like today, a lot of people would just reach out on Instagram. But in our era, it was very different on how you would link up with these artists, especially
Super
internationally.
Super different. I mean, even like some of my first collaborators, like shouts to Elliot Lip, you know what I mean? Like, working... Like, I linked up with him, right? Like, being in Chicago, going to Tower Records, right? And they had the little listening station.
Yeah, I remember that.
In the listening station.
Man, those were the days, bro.
Yeah, you know what I
You
mean?
could scan
like,
the barcode on it. I mean, they came up and you'd be able to listen to the whole thing.
I was lit. No, it was super lit. And then shouts to the one. So, anyway, the homie was... I guess working in the Tower Records, put his record in there. I didn't know, you know what I mean? But the point is, his email was in the record. Shout out the email, you know what I'm saying? And from that, we started to work together. And I say that to the point of, I mean, a lot of what I was doing back in the day was like straight up just sending my music to people and having that kind of speak for itself, you know what I'm saying? And being where I'm from and letting it kind of speak for itself. But, it depends on, kind of the person. But you know, I can say I've been blessed to work with damn near everybody like I've ever looked up to as a little kid. You know what I mean? So
That's
I'm hype
amazing.
on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, specifically, I know too, and speaking on some other people that you've been outside of the genre. I know, Kurt Flostradamus.
Yeah, shouts Kurt.
I know you know him fairly well
God.
from back the day.
Oh yes, sir.
So I mean, that right there is just. I mean, that's even though they do some hip hop style, I guess style of music would be very similar, trap or whatever.
Flostradamus is, you know.
I mean, they were a big part of New
stylistically-
York or Chicago rather, and like a lot of the scene that was happening at that time. You know what I mean?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's kind of where I came up at. Like a lot of how me and like Flostradamus linked. The other guy in the group, J2K.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I've known him since I was like, just high school age, and we used to skate together. And one day I seen him, and he's like, "Yeah, I see you be rapping." Woo, woo. He was like, "We got these parties. I'll be there, with my sister. Will come through." So we connected, and just off the fact that we both kind of, because then it's like that's like 2005, 6.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And linking like club music with like rap music, and it just
The
felt like
gender
a
of
thing.
bending.
Yeah, like it felt like a kind of breaking new ground, and we was definitely on that together. And then it's just crazy. It's just it's just kind of like I said it earlier. You know what I mean? In the mixtape shop, Kanye West had a mixtape.
Right.
I feel like as long as you work at what you're doing, it's always gonna be fire. And
For sure.
and flaws definitely are they created EDM trap. in
Yeah.
my
Yeah, pretty
eyes.
much.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Original Don
What
kind
about
of was
linking
like
up with like Busy P and kind of like the Ed Banger guys? Like
Okay.
how did that come about? Because that's jumping across the pond and
Yeah.
all that.
No, totally. I mean, that connection, like there's a wild connection with that, like working with some of the big homies in LA. Shouts to Radio Inactive, shouts to Bus Driver. They had this rap group on their album called TTC, and they're like, "Yo, check out this group." And as I was listening to the music, like it was along the same lines of what I was just saying about kind of what you were saying about genre bending, where it was kind of a mix of the electronic with rap, and it was breaking new ground.
That
And
era
then-
really set up for what a lot of music is today, honestly,
Oh,
with what
totally.
EDM is and with the crossover of a lot
Definitely.
of these genres.
Totally. And so through listening to the music, they kind of we all connected, and then through MySpace, man, we all just
That
started.
was the first. That was one of the first connectors right there.
Yeah, we all just started connected, and then through them linked up, with the Ed Banger people, with like Busy P and Uffy and Feeds. Just the whole Paris scene at the time. You know what I mean? Even it's crazy. Shouts out Sirkin. You know what I'm saying? Like he doing sequencing like fashion shows now, Alex Studio, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like, it is what it is. But we all connected through that love and through a love of Chicago house. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was raised. You feel me?
Nice. Well, I want to get into some of the stuff that you're working on now, and especially how you create these full immersive experiences. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the next music video.
What you got for us?
The next music video is a track that was super big to me growing up. Shouts to the big bros, Big Just and LP and Mr. Lynn. This is Company Flow with Into M Burners.
Let's get it. Culture Cut TV.
Super duty, tough work, all visit, lost vomit. B-boys hold down a function, rock steadily for more than just dope.
Welcome back to Culture Cut TV here on Much Obliged TV. That was Company Flow, End to End Burners. Dope track, man. It was a great pick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a classic, bro.
So
That's-
they've influenced you quite a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Company Flow is like, I don't know, man. I feel like just growing up, I don't even remember how I came upon Company Flow. I just remember, back in the day, growing up in Chicago, like when around that era, I was like a freshman in high school. You know what I mean? You're a freshman, you looking out for like all the upperclassmen. You know what I mean? And I just remember one day, all these like older mugs ran up on me, and I'm like, oh man, it's time to go. It's time to fight. And they run up on me and they're like, hey man, and one of the dudes is somebody I knew, like one of the older dudes. He's like, hey man, you know about Company Flow? I was like, no. And he was like, well, you should. And then for some odd reason, I checked it out. The references, the swing. You know what I mean? Shout out LP. Like LP's production at that era, no one in the world, in my opinion, was touching him, except for like RZA.
Yeah.
But no one was touching that.
Well,
at the
to
time.
this day, still. You know what I mean? The stuff he's doing with Run the Jewels and everything like that.
Oh, totally. It's just some people make indelible, no pun intended, classic music, and
Sure.
yeah, he definitely had that. But the point is, with all that though, once I got into like Company Flow and Fun Crusher Plus and listening to End to End Burners, I remember some of my first trips ever, in New York, I would be was when I got kind of exposed to the music. You know what I mean? So it kind of it was something that was there for the cornerstone, the foundation of me kind of coming up.
It's dope. That's really cool, man.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of touch on now, the project that you're working on now. And
Okay.
I think one of the biggest pieces about you with your projects is you really create a completely immersive thing and really, try to bring the audience to your mind space of where you were when you made that record, which I think is really important now. You want to kind of talk about a little bit like this new project that you've
Totally.
been working on for a very long time.
It's been
Totally.
a while. Yeah, it has been. You've been working on
Totally.
it for a bit.
Well, the entire project I'm working on is an album called Auto Motor, but the project I just released is called Install 001, and those are songs from the sessions of Auto Motor. And what basically, like a lot of my newer music has a visual component to it, because ever since I was a shorty coming up, I've always tried to find ways of like we said in the beginning, distinguishing yourself, differentiating yourself. And back in the day when everybody was hitting them with the CDRs, I was hitting them with the mini CDs or like things like that. So I always
Something that was unique and different.
Yeah, but still allowed you to digest the information. And then also a lot of my tracks, as you would know, are like vocabulary heavy. So a lot of times people would just be like, fam.
I got my dictionary out half the time.
And it's the thing, shouts to Ghostface, the thing with the Ghostface tracks. What Ghostface said, he was like, man, when just threw the paint on the wall, did he know what he knew what he was doing? Don't ask him about it. I've always felt that way, but also the other side of me is like, no, I'm talking about this. So I like to always have another component that kind of explains in my music. So this is kind of a step up from like a lyric booklet, basically. And so each track on Install has its own 3D environment that I modeled and coded and put on the web, and in each environment is things that I'm talking about in the song. And this is to be a precursor for the actual project that I've been working on, Auto Motor, which it just incorporates emerging technologies, creative code, and kind of bring art. Well, and brings it
side
and
too.
brings it. Oh, totally, and the visual art, and brings it into the music. Because a lot of things I'm talking about things going on the south side of Chicago, and especially now how things are super politicized. Like Chicago, damn near be a term for just the ghetto or just how things are. It's like I always want to have that deeper facet to it that tells you a little bit more about the music. So that's it. And but the album coming soon. I'm super stoked about it. We
You
built
can
it
check
in
out Install 001 right now on
Oh, yeah.
Spotify,
Oh
Apple
yeah,
Music.
install is available on all streaming services, and you can view the 3D environments at my website, vyle.com. Okay, and yeah, and Automotor coming soon. It's gonna be hot.
Awesome. Where can everybody
Yeah.
check you out on social media?
All my socials are basically the same as just at Vyle. So Instagram at Vyle,
VYLE.
Twitter
Just for
at
everyone.
Vyle, and yep, VYLE. Yeah.
Nice. Well, let's kick off your last music video for our show.
Yeah.
Okay, the last video is a special one, a Chicago one. All right, this is Do or Die with Chicago's the golden child at the time, Kanye West, called Higher.
Let's get into it.
Woo!
You a genius, boy.
Now when you hear this song, you know it's on, baby girl. Now when you hear this song, you know it's on, baby girl. When you hear this song, you know it's on. I feel your loving got me so high, I'm gone.
Me and you, baby girl, like best friend. That means you wanna get the notion. On I-55, you and I, let's ride.
Welcome back to Culture Cut TV. That was Do or Die with Higher featuring Kanye West. Sick video, man.
Absolutely.
I'm finally glad we got Vyle on the show because, man, the dude is like a music industry dictionary.
Yeah, he really is, and I
Full
think
of knowledge, and it's cool to hear the stories about the come up in Chicago and how he's morphed and followed, I don't want to say trends, but kind of created his own trends in a sense.
absolutely. He's always been an innovator, and it's good to have those people around you who are constantly trying to push the culture and the music to the next level. And that's kind of always what I look to when I see Vyle.
For sure. Well, thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you guys next week's episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share on the bottom. We're getting to our last video today. This is Doomsday by Doom right here on Culture Cut TV.
Woo!
Come through, dig the sound. Ride around. I used to cop a lot, but never cop no drop. Hold mics like ponytails tight and bobble ops. Stop, stick around, come through.
Yo, this is Vyle. Thanks for watching Culture Cut. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to watch more, it's a video here. Should be one right there too. Don't forget, install 001 available, vyle.com. Peace.